Hi, good evening, everyone. This is Neeraj Gugoi. I am Edu Coach at Paytm Money, and welcome to our show, IPO Pe Charsha. We are here with an announcement that you all have been writing for LIC IPO. It's likely to open on May 4th. And as we all know, LIC IPO is going to be one of the biggest IPO ever in India. So LIC is the largest insurer in India, and their listing is the largest listing, going to be the largest listing ever. So the IPO has been creating lots of buzz since the last couple of months, and we are here to give you all the informations, inputs that you need to take an informed decision. In fact, IPO investing has been one of the great way since we have seen last 20 years, in fact, right from 2000 onwards, that right in the listing gains, people trade for listing gains, people, even do it for long-term investing. Um, Sushant, this is with respect to IPO investing and with respect to
Yes.
LIC IPO. And first, would like to give a small overview about the benefits of IPO investing, why one should do, the kind of gains, what they can look for. Just can you give a brief introduction about that?
Yes, absolutely. Okay, so everyone out here, IPO is a very easy way of getting into a company's shareholding, where you can purchase the shares at the time when the future is with you. Okay, you're buying at the price where probably you are getting a very good deal from the company directly itself, depending on the valuation at which the company is coming up. So specifically at this point in time, when you look at LIC's IPO, we are getting the IPO coming out at a very good valuation, and there is probably a lot of things, a lot of future available for you to benefit from, apart from some other valuation rich companies that have come out recently. And we all saw what happened post the listing, right? The few names you can obviously recount right now. One of them being a lot of them are actually out there. So yeah, so benefits of investing in IPOs can do a big deal for you if you hold on for the long term. Yes, many of the people invest only for the listing gain, and they tend to miss out on the long run that the company can probably give to you in the times to come. So yes, there are two ways in which people can benefit from investing in IPOs.
So, Shushant, that was a lovely introduction, Shushant. But when we talk about the benefits and advantages in investing for long term, can you tell us, like, through this IPO, how is the government of India going to be benefited? Along with how we, the investors, will get benefit out of it?
Okay. So firstly, we will talk about the government benefiting from it. As we all know, that the government has set itself certain divestment targets with which it accumulates, or rather, gets a corpus of money coming in, helping it for its own finances. Okay, so they time and again come out with FPOs. They do offer for sales in public sector enterprises. One of the ways is again an IPO of a very big company which they have established for the past so many years, and now is the time is right to take advantage of it. So they get a corpus. Okay. Secondly, the benefits of listing again, because they're coming out with a very small amount of stake sale, the benefit of market capitalization gain, as in when the prices rise, also tends to benefit the government. For example, if you look at a certain private listed company, okay, so the net worth of the company and the promoters increase when the share price of the company increases, right? So in a similar manner, then the government tends to benefit with the listing of companies. Now, on the other hand, for the shareholder, obviously, there are multiple ways in which we benefit. Okay, firstly is dividends. Okay, so being a public sector enterprise, it is quite likely that the companies will, give out higher dividends going forward. Like in the case of what we are seeing with Coal India or NMDCs, that is one way of benefiting in the long run. Secondly, is the obviously the capital appreciation. I think the company LIC, for that matter, is coming out with a very low float. Okay, when they come out of the IPO, the very small percentage of the company is being sold, or rather given out to the public. So the benefit of low float also will help the government when the share prices increase.
Okay.
Obviously, in the similar way, we as a shareholder also will tend to benefit when the share prices increase.
Okay, Sushant, next question is, I believe there's a reduction in the issue size right now. Can you?
Yes.
Yes. So, can you please enlighten us with what is going to be the issue size like?
Yes. So earlier, the government was planning 5% stake sale, and the issue size was somewhere around 63,000 crores. But now they have reduced the stake sale to around 3.5%, and the issue size is 21,000 crores.
So that's great. Why do you think uh, they have reduced this issue size? And also, how much will be the price band? What kind of price band we are expecting, Sushant, for this
So
IPO?
on the lower end, we are looking at around 949 rupees or 950 rupees on the lower end, and on the upper band, we are not yet sure. We'll come to know as and when the government comes out of that report. Now, what is the second question you asked?
The other question was why did they reduce the issue size? Are they expecting full subscription? Is there an issue that LIC might be suspecting that there might not be any full subscription? Is it because of that or something like that?
We could have thought about that earlier, but if you come to know today, you just came to know about that, the anchor investors have been extremely jubilant. So the anchor book has already been subscribed twice. Okay, so since they were asking for somewhere around 6,500 crores, the anchor book has received responses worth 13,000 crores, which is almost like just 7,000 crores, 8,000 crores less than the total book size. So there is no dearth of excitement from the investors as such. But I believe the government wants to not let go of a large chunk at one go. Obviously, considering the environment, the investing environment with the Russia-Ukraine war going on and the oil crisis and a lot of geopolitical tensions around, obviously the government did want to have a successful IPO. So probably that is one way, and the other one is that they don't want to let go of a large chunk of the company. So because going forward they have the option of coming out with an FPO, not in the next 1 year at least, but they'll always have a larger stake with them, which gives them the leeway of raising more money going forward. Like if you have a very big, say for example, you have a very valuable piece of cake, for example, then you don't want to give out the entire thing at one go. You want to give in parts so that you can always take the benefit of merit, and the excitement in the shareholding fraternity also stays afloat.
Okay.
Great. That's right.
Yeah. Now we know that there are lots of excitement. Lots of people are actually waiting. But also we have heard about that reservation for employees and policyholders. So there are two things. One is, are there going to be any reservation for employees and policyholders? Because second is, what is our probability of getting the subscription as non-employee and non-policyholders of LIC? Sushant.
Yeah. So yes, there is a reservation for the. There is a reservation also and a discount also, which the government will be giving for the policyholders and the employees.
Okay.
So the discount would be in the range of 5%, 5 to 10% on the upper hand, and in terms of allotment, I believe, okay, personally, I feel that there is a high chance or high probability of most of the people getting allotment, because 35% of the entire issue is open for the or reserved for the retail category, and I'm sure a lot of people present in the space as well have policies, in their homes, like probably their fathers or their grandparents. There is an LIC policy almost in every household, so there is a high chance that almost everyone will get allotment.
Yes, I also have one LIC policy, which my father took 20 years back.
Precisely. This is the benefit of this company. They reach to places where most of the people are not able to, like in probably every household. And earlier times, this was probably the only method of investments apart from FD. You buy an insurance policy and you probably get some bonus at the end of the maturity or something. So people used to look at insurance that way as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So in the last few times, some of the IPOs which has come, they were not profitable organizations. They were generating very good revenue, but they were not so profitable organizations.
Yes.
Of course, I know this is a very, it's incorrect to ask in case of LIC, but still, for many of the audience benefit, I'll ask this question: is LIC a profitable company, and are its business profit?
Yes, yes. LIC is a profitable company, and it has a very good market share as well. So near about 60% of the new business, comes to LIC. So they are profitable. They have a very good future as well. And the penetration of insurance in India is still very less as compared to developed countries. If you go to see India is somewhere around 9% penetration in terms of life insurance. So there's a huge scope for the company to grow in the times to come.
Okay.
And also, if you look at it, most of the PSUs and all, though they have their own life insurance companies, but they have a huge penetration in the rural belt, and so does LIC.
Absolutely.
How many agents do you think LIC has right now?
Just give me 1 minute. I think around 16 lakhs. 16 lakh is the number of insurance. Just 1 second.
I think it's around 13.
13 to 16 lakhs, I believe.
Maybe, yeah. And they're serving close to 29.
Yeah, and this is larger than all the insurance agents combined of private companies.
And the best part which I like about it is they're serving nearly 29 crore policyholders. 29 crores.
That's huge.
Yeah. That's huge.
In fact, Sushant, you have been talking about getting allotment by almost everyone. Like, I think it's a demand and supply kind of a situation. The supply is also good. The supply is also good, and the demand is no doubt is there for IPO, LIC IPO in the market. Now, my question is related to if the supply is so good, supply is so high that everyone is likely to get the allotment. How do you think it is going to perform like post IPO listing? Do you think it's going to any idea kind of taking into account the future, probably the growth of insurance business in India? How do you think it is going to perform post IPO?
See, if we talk about the listing gain only, I do not see a very big listing gain, but there should be listing gain firstly, because as the anchor book already suggests that there is huge demand, and once the first day numbers are out in terms of retail subscription, the GMP tends to go up, right? So initially we have an expectation of a good listing gain, but in the long run, if we talk about personally, in my opinion, insurance is a very sunrise sector. The penetration is very low. The awareness was very low earlier, but today, being the world we are in, the world of digitization, and the curiosity in terms of knowing about finances has risen big time. Okay, so people are now getting aware. They're learning from different sources about the benefits of insurance, about investing and everything. So this paves a big way for the insurance companies to benefit, because as and when the awareness increases, people will look out for insurances, and they will look out for the best names in the industry. And one of the best names in the industry is LIC. So the future is very bright for this company, no doubt about it.
Again, my very next question, like you said that penetration of insurance in India is pretty low. Just for the benefit of our viewers, can you tell us like what is the percentage penetration is there, and how much that we expect in next 5 to 10 years?
See, as I had read some report earlier, and it said that insurance penetration in India is somewhere around 9%. And we can expect at least by around 2030, we should reach around 16%. This is a very conservative figure I'm talking about. So considering the population of this country, 16% also is a very big number. Okay, and in that, what also matters is the market share that a particular company can garner. So yes, there is a good competition coming from the private players, but considering the expertise, the pedigree of this company, the number of agents it has, and the penetration in the rural areas that LIC has, plus the trust factor it has, then I'm sure it will the market share of LIC should not go below 55%, even in the long run.
Well, Sushant, the number which you said from 9% to 16%, which the regulatory board's vision is, does this also include general insurance, or this is the data only for the life insurance?
Only for life insurance.
Okay. That's huge. And incidentally, if you look at most of the financial companies, which are among the top 10, 20 financial companies, which are among the Fortune 500, most of their parent companies had been having insurance with them. So that I mean, if we look at some big names in US, they all have insurance companies backing. So my question to you next is, will this be the biggest IPO till date?
Yeah, if the issue size is 21,000 crores, that is the biggest IPO.
Okay. So along with this, I'll ask this question to you. So the numbers which you're sharing and everything looks good, but as individuals or as investors, which we always suggest that you should not keep all eggs in one basket. As a general rule, how much percent of our portfolio we should invest in IPO? Now, basically, I'm asking you from the point of view of risk management.
Right. So let's take a very conservative portfolio size of 10 lakh rupees. In a year, okay. Generally, what happens is if the market is very bullish, you will get around 4 to 6 IPOs coming together, right? And the chances are very high that you will apply for all. So you have to be very specific. It doesn't matter if you apply to all, but you have to be very specific in which IPOs or in which companies will you be holding for the long term, and in which IPOs will you be just playing for the listing date. So if you are any IPO which you get, probably will be around 15,000 rupees also, only in terms of your investment. So on a 10 lakh rupees, if you apply for 5 IPOs or 4 IPOs, you get allotted. You are just investing 60,000 rupees of that. And in that as well, if you are just booking, say, in three IPOs, you're booking your profits on the day of the listing itself, then the remaining 2 you can keep for your entire long-term portfolio kind of scenario. So in that case as well, you are very much cushioned because you are hardly investing 2.8% of your entire capital in an IPO. So here the way to manage the risk would be to be aware beforehand as to where you're going to be invested for the long term and in which you're just playing for the listing.
Okay.
Right.
Great. In fact, Sushant, I would like to ask you, are you going to invest yourself? And I'm sure you are also excited. Everybody is excited. And what is your final words like? Tell us in one word, like go for it, go wholeheartedly. What's your final word to our investing community for this particular IPO?
So, personally, I would say that I would definitely apply for it. And my vision is very clear. If I invest in something, I invest for the long term. And with LIC as a company, I would really want to see myself and my family grow along with the LIC journey. However, I have a very clear philosophy. When I invest in something, I book whenever I get 50 to 60% of profits. I book my profits and I keep only the profit inside. I remove my capital and I keep the profits inside the market. That's all. So I don't invest wholeheartedly in terms of any company and stay for the long term. So if you're, say, for example, investing 10 lakh rupees or 5 lakh rupees, whenever you get 50% profit, keep that profit in the market, remove the capital, and that's how you play for the long run.
Wonderful. Wonderful. In fact, this is
wonderful.
I think this is a very important point. I think that's a very important point that what you have said, that take your profit out, take your capital out. Only the profit part you should remain invested for the long term, right? I think that is what comes as a part of risk management again. And what is your final advice? Do you advise all the listeners, all the public to go for it?
Yes, I'm personally investing, and yes, I would not hesitate in saying that yes, you should apply for it.
Great.
But keep your also one more thing. Investing is a very subjective field of expertise. So what happens is if you are a person who has a lot of time in your hand, who has in terms of your age, if you're young enough, so I would suggest hold on things for the long run and stay stuck with good companies for the long run. Always. Hello.
Yeah, that's wonderful. That's wonderful. Shankar, if you have any questions,
Right, that's wonderful. Yes. Sushant, in this IPO season, along with LIC, we are getting some more other IPOs. Any view on any one of them which you think will come up, like your campus, which is coming up?
Honestly, I have not gone through the other one which we want to discuss, probably the medical one. I have not seen that or want to see
Rainbow
that.
Medical, yes.
I have not gone through that yet. Campus Active, on the face of it, I find it very expensive. Although the business is very nice and the competition that they're facing will probably be negated because they're coming in the activewear segment, which is high end already, but they're kind of disrupting with lower end products, like lower price products. And personally, I have used as well campus shoes. I find them pretty, worth the money. So yes, there is a possibility that in the long run you might get good benefits in campus too. But see, what I believe is not every IPO needs to be applied to. Personally, I find conviction in certain companies. I invest in them. I don't look at every opportunity. And there is always an option to buy from the open market. Like we tend to forget that. Certain companies which get listed at a very high price, we forget that they also come down. The prices fall, and that's also an opportunity. So yeah, and a lot of companies out there in the open market right now as well are trading at very good valuations. So why to go for something which is probably trading at 100, which is at 8 times in 10 times? That's it.
Okay.
That's also something we should look at.
But at the same time, if you're saying that, one can have a IPO listing strategy.
Yeah.
So one can use the strategy which you shared with us.
Exactly.
So if you with a capital of 10 lakhs, divide it into 5 and use it for listing gains. Precisely. So any last final word of wisdom to all our audience who are listening?
In terms of IPOs, honestly, there is not much wisdom because as when the season picks up, as in when the IPOs come up with huge valuations and the listing gains are enormous, common sense will go out of the window. But in terms of investing, for sure, one thing is very clear: if you hold on to a company, a good company, no matter how how much you have a conviction in that. If you hold on for the long run, you will make money in this market. I personally had experiences with good companies and I've held on to them for the long run, and I've seen 10x, 12x also. So from that perspective, I can say one thing for sure: for the long run.
Excellent. Now I'm taking it to the audience. How many of you know about the LIC IPO and the story? How many of you are having LIC policies? If you are having, I would request you to post a heart right away. So can you post a heart? How many of you are having LIC policies? Wow.
We should also
getting
ask
some nice hearts.
Sorry, Shankar, you should also ask how many of them have a LIC policy in their household. I'm sure everyone's going to raise that.
That's true. And back then, the only financial product which we all had was LIC policies.
Exactly.
Now think about it. After the LIC prospectus comes, red herring documents comes, you please start read it, study it. Don't depend on us, on our advisors. Do not depend on us, on advisors at all. Stay tuned for more information on LIC IPO. We will be doing a lot of sessions on this to make sure that you stay informed. Okay, Deepak. Hi, Deepak.
Hi. Can you hear
Welcome
me?
to our show.
Thanks. Yeah.
What's your view on the IPO?
So if the price is what they've mentioned now, the order of 6 lakh crores in market cap, then I think any earlier people were talking about 15 lakh crores. Now if it's 6 lakh crores, then it's a steal. This is a steal for this company. Because it's going to earn roughly 40 to 50,000 crores in net profit after tax because of a rule change that happened after March 31st last year. So that means it's not visible in the results of last year. It's going to be only visible in the results of this year, and that too partially next year in full. So this is it's just a small difference in how the actuarial gains from certain policies are recorded. They were earlier recorded in a different way. Now they're fully recorded as profits for LIC, which is the way that all other companies do it. All other listed companies do it. Earlier, I don't think they saw the need to do it because they were not really a company. LIC was an organization of different sorts, so they had to change the structure of the company. So at 15 lakh crores, it was expensive. You're still paying 30 times earnings, and you're still paying 3x embedded value. Now you're paying about 1.2x embedded value. And given the franchise that LIC has, and you have to give it a discount for being a PSU. So instead of 3x, you might give it a 2x. But if you're getting dedicated at 1x, then I think you're getting a pretty good deal here. However, there'll be a lot of competition. Remember also that this time I think oversubscription will be real, in the sense earlier IPO oversubscriptions were funded primarily by NBFCs. NBFC rules have changed, so they cannot fund an IPO with more than 1 crore even for an HNI. That means funding an HNI, I mean, now 500 crores and 400 crores and all that drama that we see here happening, that is not going to happen anymore. So oversubscription rates will be real. If there's a 5x oversubscription, it's really 5x demand that has come in versus artificial demand that was created by NBFCs lending crazy amounts of money only for 4 or 5 days just to get IPO allocations. Given this, I think this IPO is the right size. At 21,000 crores, it's probably a very, very big IPO. It's going to have a lot of a lot of institutional interest at this price. I think also that people should be quite careful. They have to, there is no concept of I can get you allocation or something like that. So if somebody tells you, don't you give me money or come through me, I'll get you allocation. There is no such thing at all. So everything is going to be a lottery. Even for HNIs, when they apply, they are going to get a different way that allocations happen to HNIs. It will not be based on highest amount first. It will be based on a very different. The same way it happens for retail will happen for HNIs. Given that, I think the idea should be to keep your investments in line with how you want it. This is a PSU. This is a large, no debt company, and it is also the largest insurer. So the kind of valuations you might give to the insurance industry, LIC deserves to be a part of it. In a year, LIC will be a part of the Nifty if they divest 25%. In a year or two. So this is going to be one of the largest companies in India. So I think that way, very good company. In fact, now very good price. So earlier at the price, I was saying no. This at a 6 lakh crore market cap, it's a definite yes. We'll know the exact prices, I guess, in a few days. But just my view on this.
Yeah. Thank you, Deepak. This is Neeraj here. Thank you so
Guys,
much for your.
Guys, let me introduce you to Deepak. Deepak is the founder, CEO of Capital Mind in PMS. So Deepak Shinai had been in the industry for over 2 decades now, and had been guiding many of us and in the lines of investment. Okay, I have one more question to you. So people generally, when they invest in IPO, they look at listing gains, especially the retail audience. So what do you recommend? Keep it for long term or keep it for listing gains?
यार ये लिस्टिंग गेन का क्या है यार? Why are so many people interested in one listing gain? इससे क्या मतलब कुछ नहीं होगा. Everybody will you'll make a little bit of money, and you know what, if you're a retail investor, you'll get one lot, okay, in this IPO. There's so much interest in this IPO, you'll get one lot, 13,000 rupees, 14,000 rupees, or agar if that goes up 50% also 7,000, you won't even be able to buy a proper phone for that trade. So it's like just for showing off, this listing gains thing. तो ये सब मत करो. I think you should, if you're investing, invest for the longer term. You can invest, no, not just IPO. Even if you get one lot, you can buy after the company lists also, if it gives you enough valuation room to add more. But don't have too much hopes you'll get like you'll be able to put 10 lakhs and get 10 lakhs worth of shares and it'll double and all that stuff. That is not a useful thing. It's like playing satta. You might as well do crypto, no? Everything there in IPO doubles anyway. If you want to do listing gains, isn't crypto a better place? If you want to lose your money, you might as well lose it in, I don't know, in something like that. But if you're investing for the long term, then you should look at companies for what their real worth is. This listing gain thing is useful to play, very good for Twitter, but not really great for real life,
So Deepak, will you be applying for it?
I'm not allowed to, unfortunately, because of my company's rules. But we will probably even as a PMS, we are not expecting too much allocation, even if we apply for it in the PMS. But after it lists, so for instance, we bought IRCTC after it listed. We bought a fairly large quantity at that time, so we were able to, that went up 5x for us. Of course, it went up 10 or 15x for people who invested in the IPO. But even if I get 5x in a year, that's also okay. It's not like I'm very disappointed with that. So I think we will take a more measured approach to it and saying the IPO is not the be all and end all, but we will definitely try to get something in the IPO by applying. But it'll depend on the dynamics of how much applications are there.
Right. Thank you, Deepak, for your time. And thank you very much for taking out time, and then you have been able to join us in this show. So thank you so much for your time. Thank you, Sushant, for your time as well.
Thank you for having me, Sankha and Paytm Man. I really had a very good conversation with everyone and love listening to Deepak as well. So yeah, looking forward to such spaces with you.
We really did have some good hits in the initial phase, and thank you, Neeraj, for coming over and hosting it with us. That's it for all of you, and wish you all the very best in this IPO season. Please do keep an eye on all the upcoming IPOs and follow us in our social media handles and our YouTube channels as well. We'll give you a lot of IPO updates there. You can also watch IPO review videos on Paytm Money app. So guys, I hope all of you enjoyed. And if you did, please put a heart, put a thumbs up, and put a clap. And even if you don't, trust me, I really loved hosting all of you.
Thank you, Sushant. Thank you, Shankha. And thank you, all the listeners. Bye-bye.